Does your child get confused between B's and D's? Is it when they're writing those letters, or is it in their reading? In this video, I'm going to share 3 tips that will help your child's confidence so they can confidently read and write B's and D's without any confusion. If your child has already started reading and writing and has got those letters mixed up, then this video is for you. But if your child hasn't started reading and writing letters yet, keep watching this video because you are going to learn some great tips that will ensure your child has a really good start on writing those letters correctly. I've seen lots of ideas on how to fix this confusion between B's and D's, but none of them are as certain as these 3 tips combined. Hi, I'm Joni Flowers and I help parents and educators with practical tips to support their children on their learning journey. Confusing B's and D's does seem to happen a lot with young children. After all, those 2 letters really do look very similar. When we learn about similar things that are closely related at similar times, our brain subconsciously makes generalizations rather than discriminating between the 2 different things. For example, a child knows that a car is a car whether it is facing one way or it's being turned around and it's facing the other way. Just like a child knows that is a dog. If it's facing one way, it's still a dog when it faces the other way. Children think because these generalizations apply to most of the things they see, why then wouldn't they apply to letters? And this leads me to the first tip. Tip number 1, it all has to do with the letter B. Just teach B. Once a child knows, as in absolutely knows, how to recognize the letter B, they will not get confused again when they come across D's. Eventually, it will be time to get back to writing those D's again, but initially, just focus on the letter B. And leave a big gap between teaching a D as well, otherwise it might make children generalize again. In the meantime, before you get around to solidifying what a B is like, and a child does show you the D and it's been written incorrectly or back to front, have some fun with them and just read out the words as they have written them. Perhaps they wanted to write dad, but read it out and go, oh, Bab and Mum went to the shops. First thing we've got to do when children have had this confusion is make absolutely sure they know how to recognize and write a B. How do we do this? Well, that leads me to tip number 2. So tip number 2 is see the image. Encourage children to look really closely at the letter B. What can they see there? And my very favorite image to help children remember the letter B has to be a bat and a ball. We've got the bat and the ball. Now, it is possible that maybe children could switch that around and do the ball first before the bat. So we can't leave it there and just say it's a bat then a ball. We need to say a little bit of alliteration. The big bat and a small ball. The big bat, after all, this bat has 2 words. It's got big and bat. Therefore, it is very important and must go first. Then we've got the small ball. It's got B for ball, but not for small. I love that also about that one because small and ball, they rhyme. So that's really good too. So now it's time to make a bat and a ball. And here I have used some the brown paper to make my big bat and small ball. Now you could bedazzle your bat and ball. That would be fun. Make sure you show children how they fit in nice and close together there to make that image, the big bat and the small ball. Another activity to do when you are focusing on getting that letter B correct is actually play a game with a big bat and a small ball. And all the time while you're playing the game with the big bat and the small ball, you would be keeping on saying, okay, it's your turn to hold the big bat and I'll throw the small ball. And even use that bat and ball to show how a bee should look when you put those things together. Now it's time for tip number 3. When you do get around to talking about how to form the letter D, make sure that the image you are trying to associate with that letter has nothing to do with bats and balls. You don't want any confusion. I highly recommend doing something that's completely different from an innate object. Do something that maybe it's an animal. I've heard of the dinosaur, and also there's diver, a person. This will help children discriminate more between the image that's associated with a B and a D. Well, that's it for today. Happy learning. And remember, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions about teaching young children, please leave those in the comments below and I might get back to one of those in a future video. I'll see you next time.